The Premier League are taking to task their own champions for 115 alleged breaches of financial regulations.
Manchester City's 115 charges for alleged financial rule breaches begins today.
We'll start with the big news around Manchester City that broke today. They have been charged with breaching 113 regulations.
Arguably English football's largest and most controversial case.
These are very, very serious charges. The most serious charges are that across 9 seasons, Manchester City failed to provide accurate financial information.
We could possibly be relegated? No, why? Yes! Think how many goals I'm going to score in the Championship.
I'm confident that the club know what they're doing and in the end I really don't think I should speak too much about this.
115 charges against Manchester City.
Is that still going on?
Well, exactly. I mean, it's kind of frozen in time, isn't it?
My message to Manchester City would be this needs to get sorted sooner rather than later, just for your own reputation.
The last unresolved situation involves the 115-130 charges, and some reports suggest we will finally hear an outcome in the coming weeks, but we've been saying that for months really now. So let's see what happens on that front.
Good news, because I can tell you the Premier League versus Manchester City's financial charges hearing has now finished. It's over. It started back in September, 16th of September, and it's finished 12 weeks later. Now, a decision is expected.
So if they are not guilty, the decision is a disgrace. If they are guilty, the decision is also a disgrace. Because if you are guilty, you should be banned from the competition.
Talking about the 115 charges against Man City in 2025 is starting to feel like talking about the Epstein files and when they'll be released. Let me ask the viewer, if you get accused of murder 115 times, I'm pretty sure there's no chance you're innocent. Man City are literally accused of committing fraud 115 times. There's no way they're innocent. Mason Greenwood. The crazy part about this is Man City claim they are innocent, which I mean they kind of have to do that, but you know what, we'll look into their basis on why they believe they're innocent later on in this video. Now let's be frank guys, when it comes to these 115 charges, I am pretty sure there will be no verdict, and if there is a verdict, it'll probably be a not guilty verdict for Man City. Worst case scenario is Man City will be fined like £100 million by the league, but they won't face any relegation or points deduction or any repercussions at all for their non-compliance throughout the years. Now don't get me wrong, I hope I am wrong. I hope Man City get relegated into EFL League 2 if they're found guilty. But honestly, this case has been going on for so long that I can't help but feel like the Premier League definitely don't have enough evidence to properly convict Man City, and Man City are definitely going to get away with it. And if they do get away with it, which I believe they will, it just sets up an awful precedent by the Premier League, because your favorite club can just be non-compliant for a decade. You can win everything during that period, catch 200 charges of fraud, and you will get away with it. Now the news of the 115 charges first broke in February 2023, and it has been radio silent for a while because they keep delaying the date when they're going to give the verdict. Now what I will do in this video is give you a timeline of everything that happened during that initial period of non-compliance. But before I do that guys, I just wanted to say I did a lot of research for this video. I even looked at Man City's annual report and their financial reports to get as much information as I could about these 115 charges. So if you guys could please leave a like on this video, I would really appreciate it. You can subscribe if you want to see more football videos. I am an Arsenal fan, so I'm more inclined to post more Arsenal content, but I really need that like for the algorithm. And with that being said, let us look at this initial period of non-compliance. Prior to Abu Dhabi's takeover of Man City in 2008, if we look at Man City from the year 2000 to 2007, Man City were a certified mid-table team, with them getting relegated and achieving a best finish of 9th twice in the 6 years which they were in the Premier League. Then we get to the year 2008, and while the world was experiencing the financial crisis, the footballing world experienced a different kind of crisis, with Man City getting taken over by Abu Dhabi. That same year, after the massive takeover, Man City broke the British transfer record by signing Robinho from Real Madrid for £32.5 million. Bear in mind, before they made this big money transfer, they were a certified mid-table team. This transfer in today's terms would be like Crystal Palace signing Rodrigo for £200 million. In 2009, Man City outspent everyone in the league by spending over £100 million on players like Adebayor, Julian Lescott and Carlos Tevez. Then Mark Hughes got sacked and replaced by Roberto Mancini, who had an interesting contract, just keep that in mind. Mancini led Man City to finishing 5th that season. And also during this year, UEFA started drawing up a framework for this thing they called financial fair play. But we'll only have to worry about that in 2011. Now we get to 2010 and once again Man City have spent over £100 million on players like David Silva, Yaya Toure, Mario Balotelli, Edin Dzeko and Jerome Boateng. Jerome Boateng, like what's he doing there? But in this season, Mancini managed to win Man City the FA Cup and guided them to finishing 3rd in the league that season. Now we get to 2011 and Man City did not spend more than £100 million this season, probably because UEFA started monitoring teams for compliance with financial fair play. Even though they didn't spend as much, Man City still managed to sign the likes of Samir Nasri, Gael Clichy and Sergio Aguero, who ended up winning Man City the league that season. Now think about how crazy this financial takeover was, because Man City went from being a certified mid-table team in 2008 to champions in 2011. And this was the perfect time to be spending a crazy amount of money on players, because back then, less than £70 million got you Nasri, Clichy and Aguero. Nowadays, 100 million gets you Mudryk or Antony. Now the reason why I opted to be really in-depth on the first 4 years of the Abu Dhabi takeover was to show you guys how a mid-table team ended up becoming champions and how they outspent everyone to get that title. But now in this next section, I want to focus more so on the charges. Now, according to the Premier League, Man City are charged with 54 counts of failing to provide accurate financial information from the years 2009 up until 2018. They also failed to provide accurate details for player and manager payments from 2009 to 2018 on 14 different occasions. Remember that Roberto Mancini contract? Yeah, apparently he was also employed as a consultant in Abu Dhabi. So he weirdly had 2 jobs for Man City, one as a manager and one as a consultant, but he was earning a lot of money from that consultancy. Man City also had 5 charges related to their failure to comply with UEFA's rules, including financial fair play from 2013 to 2018. A further 7 charges are for breaching the Premier League's profitability and sustainability PSR rules from 2015 up until 2018. And the final 35 charges are for failing to cooperate with the Premier League investigations from December 2018 up until February 2023. So you're telling me the Premier League asked Man City to comply 35 times and 35 times they said no? Basically. But my question is, isn't that already evidence of them that they are breaching FFP rules, because the Premier League asked them for financial information 35 times and 35 times they didn't comply? Bro, when you hear the charges of this case and when you look at City's conduct, this should be a slam dunk case. So my question is, why has it taken them over 2 years to give us absolutely nothing? Man City must have Johnny Cochran's ghost or Brian Steele as lawyers to get off this case. But on a serious note, does the Premier League even have a valid case? Because yeah, it's cool and all to cry fraud 115 times, but what's the point of running investigations for 4 years, making this bold claim in February 2023 and having nothing to show for it 2 years later in 2025? Is there even a verdict? Because till this day, Man City are still buying players and fortifying their team for a title challenge, and they've been doing this while these charges have been brought against them and looming over their heads. But now I want to get into why Man City feel so confident about their position, and we're going to look at their financial statements to back up the observations which I've made. Looking at Man City's financial statements for their June 2024 financial report on page 8 under risks and uncertainties, I'll even link the report below, it says this: on 6 February 2023, in accordance with Premier League Rule W82.1, the Premier League referred a number of alleged breaches of the Premier League rules by Man City to a commission under Premier League Rule W3.4. In February 2023, in response to these charges, the club issued a public statement that it welcomes the review of this matter by an independent commission to impartially consider the comprehensive body of irrefutable evidence that exists in support of its position. Now, first of all, I just want to point out that this financial report is viewed by the shareholders, so I like the fact that Man City didn't specify how many charges, they just said alleged breaches. And look at the confidence which they are displaying to their shareholders. Man City is basically saying they have irrefutable evidence that they are innocent. Man City is telling the Premier League that they did nothing wrong, and they have evidence proving they did nothing wrong. It's almost as if Man City is daring the Premier League to take them to court so that they can see that comprehensive, irrefutable evidence. Now, don't get me wrong, obviously with your financial report, you want to make your company look as good as possible for shareholders and prospective investors, but to put out bold claims like this, calling the evidence irrefutable, it's very gutsy. Like, guys, Man City is basically saying all 115 of these charges are all false, and they have the proof to support what they're saying. Usually when a company is facing a lawsuit, they don't know which way it's going to go. They don't know if they're going to be found innocent or guilty, or whether they'll have to pay an out-of-court settlement. So what usually happens with their financial statements is they disclose the existence of this pending lawsuit in the notes of the financial statements as a contingent liability. Man City are so confident that they're innocent that they didn't even disclose this as a contingent liability. I am now more invested than ever to hear this verdict, because the Premier League says we found fraud at least 115 times, and Man City is saying they got it wrong 115 times. But unfortunately for us, we don't know when this verdict is coming out, because these guys constantly keep delaying it. So here we are, 115 charges, years of investigation, mountains of alleged wrongdoing, and yet no final word. Whether Man City are guilty or innocent, what matters most now is what happens next, and what tone the Premier League chooses to set for misconduct in this beautiful game we love known as football. If City are found innocent, then the league looks reckless for launching such a sweeping case without being able to land even one charge. If City are found guilty, and let's say the punishment is just a fine, then football has failed the very idea of fair competition. Now let's assume Man City, if they are found guilty and relegated, only then would justice seem even close to being served. The bottom line is this: the verdict isn't just about one club, it's about whether these rules mean something and whether enforcement matters. But all I know is this, guys, whatever comes next, however this verdict goes, it is going to determine the fate of not just one club, but the fate of sports integrity as a whole. Now, if you guys made it this far into the video, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I also enjoyed researching for this video, especially looking at these financial statements. But yeah, guys, let me know how you feel about these Man City charges in the comments, and let me know if you guys think they're gonna get away with it or if justice will be served. But with that being said, brothers, I hope you have a lovely day and all the best to you. Peace.